On a beautiful sky day, where you could quietly hear the waves of the water splashing, in the MMORPG game Legendary Age, Hideki Nishimura, in-game name Rusian, receives a marriage proposal from his guildmate, Ako. The girl has been persistent, asking him multiple times. Ako wishes to know the reason why he turns her down. Rusian swore to himself that he would never fall in love again, telling her sorry. Still, Ako screams that they should get married. Breaking character, the boy is confused by the girl not understanding his request. Inside a dungeon, medieval music can be heard as they begin their fight. The blonde, gallant knight, Schwein, attacks the monsters, spinning with each attack. Rusian is able to block the attacks, but is hurt. Ako would cast her healing spell, not liking him getting hurt, but the spell casts the aggro onto the healer, with her unable to defend herself as a result. At the last minute, Rusian bashes them to protect her. Their master, the purple-haired flamboyant leader, Apricot, has finished his fire hurricane, destroying all of them in one shot. Apricot is known to be a heavy spender on the game, buying the power from a potion that was on sale if you bought 10 of them. Ako runs over to heal him, confessing her love for him. Afterwards, the two of them say goodnight. Along with players Schwein and Apricot, they're all members of the Alley-Cat Guild. In the real world, Hideki is a high school student who openly expresses his otaku desires with his friends, leading to the regular disapproval by his classmate, Akane Segawa. Akane coldly calls him disgusting. His friends come to the boy's defense, getting her to stop. The class is told by their teacher, Yui Saito, that it's time for the school assembly. His friends discuss Akane, who was recently asked out by a boy in another class. The girl harshly rejected him. His friends are confused how Akane isn't his type, seeing that she has a petite body and wears twin tails. Hideki doesn't care though, since he finds the girl to be simply just too mean. Akane overhears this conversation and threatens to punch him. Hideki is bumped in from behind by a shy, antisocial girl with Ako's same features. The girl tries to apologize but ends up running away. Since then, she can't help but stare at him. At the assembly, the student council president, Kaio Goshion, addresses the class. At home, Hideki plays Legendary Age, explaining the game's terminology and gameplay. In-game, Rusian ultimately accepts Aiko's proposal. While the boy is being pummeled by orcs, you can see Aiko sporting a new ring. At the bar, Rusian is disgruntled by Aiko's performance, as she's become distracted, making the boy put in way too much effort to play the game. Even though he's barely gaining XP, he's fine with this. With the slightest bit of approval, Ako clings onto his shoulder. This conversation leads to the guildmates showing off their personalities, Apricot flaunting his wealth and spending habits, Schwein being a bit of a narcissist, with them all remembering that it's been a full year of them being in the guild. Schwein informs them that he was asked out the other day, making Hideki jealous. Hating good-looking guys, under Aiko's breath, she wishes for him to die, finding him to be a normie. Aiko then goes into a dark monologue hating all normies, creeping them all out. Hating the silence in the room, Aiko gets up and energetically reveals how she's been rejected many times and how that makes her feel, bombing him with pouts, how he turned her down 10 times, saying how could he do that. This does make Schwein wonder and ask why exactly did he turn her down. Aiko then reveals to the guildmates that this former hesitation stemmed all through a previous proposal from a female character named Nekohime, only for the latter to turn him down and confess to being a crossplayer, being a guy who plays as a girl. In frustration, Hideki slammed his keyboard, vowing to never love a girl online again. Nekohime was his ideal girl, with him leaving that same guild soon after. From this conclusion, he decided that he didn't care if it was a guy behind the screen, as long as they were cute, talking about their personality, with him being the ultimate Sigma male. Apricot is laughing at this, and decides that the group should have their own organized real-life meeting, since they're all guild members, with this all stemming back since Aiko and Apricot claim to be girls in real life. At the meeting place, a quiet, shy girl grabs onto him, being an almost identical copy of her avatar. Aiko, realizing they can finally meet up in person, clings onto him, like she did in the game. Even more surprising seeing Apricot and Schwein in real life, with one of them being the student council president, Kaio Goshion, and his other classmate, Akane. The members formally introduce themselves, starting with the class president being a second year, then Akane being a first year, Hideki also being a first year, and Aiko being a first year. They find it weird that Aiko goes by her real name in the game, and shockingly doesn't have any friends, with them all trying to cheer her up by saying with the group trying to cheer her up, saying that they're now friends. Hideki is still in disbelief, with them all being girls, with them all having a dislike for normies. The conversation turns over to Kaio, with this being about her family's wealth. The girl tries to reassure them that she actually works for her money, and even reimbursing her parents the money that they gave her. Still, this makes Aiko quite jealous, allowing her dark, creepy personality to leak out, confirming her potential yandere status. Kaio's rich parents are very strict on her, and because of this, she's unable to make real friends. Luckily, they let her play online video games, so she was able to meet up with these guys, revealing that they're truly her real friends. Next, Akane and Hideki argue over their social status in public. Hideki wants to talk to her at school and to use her game name in public, but Akane refuses to be labeled as an otaku in public, telling Kaio to stay out of this. In the end of the conversation, they confirm that Akko sucks at healing. Hideki apologizes, assuming that his guildmates would all be guys, but they all don't mind this, looking forward to seeing each other at school, although Akane and Hideki agree to keep the real life apart from the game life, and to interact how they usually do at school. Akko steps in between the two of them, not liking the look that she gave him. On the walk home, Akko and Hideki have a heart-to-heart conversation, realizing that he actually loved Akko for who she is, not her gender, looks, or age. Back in the game, Hideki begins to picture Schwein and Apricot as the real-life girl counterparts, with Apricot saying that they can just simply call her master at school. Before they all log off, Akko mentions about her taking a bath, making Rusian lose his focus. The next day, Hideki and Akane exchange their normal greetings, with some noticing that they seem a little bit different around each other. Next, Hideki is being teased about his video game habits. Akko goes to visit him, but casually calls Hideki Rusian and declares that she's also his wife, catching the attention of all the other students. Akko then alludes to them spending a night together, giggling about it. Akane tries to come in with a save, saying that if they want to talk about video games, they need to go outside, but Akko simply calls Akane by her game name. Hideki and Akane pull Akko out of the class and try several ways to explain to her the difference between school life and game life and how they're separate, but Akko perceives this as them not wanting to be her friend, making the matter actually worse. They manage to calm her down, saying that they just want her to call them by their real names. The two of them realize without video games that they have nothing to talk about. The two of them then realize that Akko can't tell the difference between the real life and video games. Kaio finds this all to be hilarious, so she decides to organize a net game club and recruits all of them to the club. Akane is against the idea of having a club about computers, but she soon changes her mind after seeing that all the computers in the club have the highest specs around. The club's purpose is to enable Akko to play video games with her guildmates, to demonstrate the coexisting of real life and gaming. Later that day, Rusian is surprised to see Nekohime in the game. The cat girl is happy to see the boy is still playing the video game, thinking that he would have quit. Hideki believes that he's learned a lot from their experience, with this making the girl happy. At school, Akko calls Hideki master, paying her morning respects to him. The two of them go back and forth with their banter, with the girl being surprised her cute greetings are being ignored. This becomes like a daily public show for their homeroom class. Nanako Akayama is curious about the relationship, wondering when did this start. The homeroom teacher Yu walks in to try to speak in with Hideki alone. Yu tells Hideki Akko's situation, with the girl not attending school very often, but ever since meeting him, she's been opening up a lot more, asking if they're dating. In the club, they realize that Akko's gear is based on her appearance, or the items that Rusian has gave her, with both Akane and Hideki wanting her to change her gear based on the quest. The bickering makes Apricot chuckle, leaving Akko sad after her changing her outfits, but the guild also has another rule in place at school, with this nerfing their master, saying that she's not allowed to use any of the premium gear that she's bought. Even with this rule in place, Apricot still makes a normal staff buff to the point as if it was a premium weapon, but she still quickly loses, and Akko also forgot how to heal, making a very rough day at the club. The young couple walks home, with Akko revealing that her parents are never really around. The next day, the Net Game Club finishes off another gaming session. Akane dotes on how the club's activities have blurred the distinction between fantasy and reality for Akko even more. The club has a limited time anyways though, with them needing to find a faculty advisor, risking of being disbanded. After Rusian is consulting Nekohime for some advice, Hideki tries to reassure Akko of the distinction between real life and online games, only to have caused Akko to get jealous, who wants to know the person who's been putting these ideas in his head. Akko stalks Rusian in the game, seeing Nekohime, wondering if he's into cat girls now, thinking that he likes cute cat noises. As a result of this, Akko stops going to school again, but later appears at the guild, telling the other players that she's going to have an offline meeting with an unknown stranger, presumably a man. Akane and Kaio try to confront Hideki to try and stop Akko, as Hideki admits that spending time with Akko has been developing a different feeling in him. Hideki runs to the meeting place to try and persuade Akko not to meet this person, but their teacher Yui shows up. Hideki discovers that Yui is actually Nekohime. Shocked that he confessed his love to his teacher, it's a bit traumatic for him. Seeing the boy's traumatic face, the maiden turns psycho, going full on yandere. Hideki tries to defend his teacher, as he sees that Akko has brought a weapon, but the teacher quickly rushes at her, doing an arm chop right to the girl's neck, revealing that what they thought was a knife was a wand. At this point, they don't even know what to say, with Akko unconscious on the floor. Kaio recruits Yui to the club, with her being the new advisor, with this being because Kaio threatened her, Hideki asks that Akko actually think about her actions, and that she also go to school. Lastly, Akko asks Hideki to come to her house to meet her parents, or the latter could do the same, with her being very serious about them. Now, this is where we're gonna leave off in today's video. If you liked today's video, make sure to leave me a like, as well as subscribe to the channel. But I'll see you next time.